Jamie, this meeting ran for about an hour. There was some updating, and then it was on to questions and answers. There wasn't one question asked about illegal campaign contributions, but some did try. Protesters lined the front steps of the Gilman Library holding signs and looking for answers.
People complain about the corruption in Washington. We have this opportunity here to do something about it.
This group is looking to talk with Congressman Frank Guinta after the Federal Election Commission released its report showing he used funds from his parents' bank account that far exceeded the legal contribution limit.
So it's sort of amazing that he hasn't resigned, or it's amazing even simply that he hasn't addressed the issue at all.
Guinta has shown no indication of resigning. At the meeting, he spoke about initiatives he's working on in Washington. He says he wants to be more accessible. He passed out cards with his cell phone number.
It allows you to talk to me directly, access me directly, 365 days a year.
Guinta then took questions from the crowd on Common Core, immigration, and veterans issues. There wasn't one question about campaign fund violations until the end as Guinta was walking out.
I have here a petition signed by 4,000 people who have asked you to resign. I'd like to give it to you, Congressman Guinta.
Sean O'Connor, the only declared Democratic challenger for the 2016 election, says he tried to ask Guinta about why he hasn't resigned, but he says he wasn't asked to speak.
There were many other people in the room who had their hands up, but the only people who were called on, it was clear that it was people who weren't even raising their hands who had been planted in the room.
Senator Sam Cataldo was one of them. He says he came to the meeting on his own and believes others did too.
There's no plants in here. I wasn't a plant. I know most of the people here that I saw. They're not plants.
In the end, Guinta did not address any members of the media, citing a busy schedule.
We already have significant questions about his integrity, about his honesty, about his ethics. And when you run something like this sham, okay, that's only going to make our questions even more significant. Guinta has maintained that the illegal contributions came from an account that included his own money, although he did enter into an agreement with the FEC that stated it wasn't his money. We reached out to the Guinta campaign to ask about the people who attended today's meeting and the questions that were asked, but we didn't hear back. Reporting live, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.